How's it going, YouTube? It's RJ here, and welcome back to another Grandmaster set video. I said I wasn't going to do this anymore, but it's just too interesting for me. This, I think, is going to probably be my niche for Pokemon YouTube card content, because everybody does Pokemon card openings. I love doing them. It's just right now this market's super difficult. I can't find anything at market price value. I haven't found anything in stores in a while. So I'm going backwards and working on sets that were really important to me, specifically XY and Black and White era, and we've managed to complete the XY base Grandmaster set. I'm super excited to get into this, so without further ado, the Master set. This is, if you don't want to include alternate variants, only 269 cards, 6 regular EXs, 2 Mega EXs, and then 6 full arts that do correlate to the regular EXs, so Venusaur, Blastoise, Emolga, Xerneas, Yveltal, and Skarmory. Then you have 16 different holos in here. You have 123 reverse rares, 107 commons, uncommons, and regular rares, and then 9 basic energies, which are actually part of the set proper. It's not like Sun and Moon or Scarlet and Violet, where they're not exactly numbered in the set. You just get them with every pack. These ones are specifically numbered with base set in mind. And there are no secret rares in this set, so at the end of the set, that's all that there is. There's no past number cards. So the Grandmaster set, this is going to be a little bit more gray than the Obsidian Flames one, because there are things that you can and cannot consider. It's up to you mostly. But I'm considering around 40 different cards. You have 2 Sheen Holo EXs, which is your Blastoise and Mega Blastoise EX, which come from the Blastoise Battle Arena deck. They are just alternate holo patterns, which you'll see in this video, but it is okay to not consider this part of the Grandmaster set for your own personal collection. It is for you, your binder, your rules. I just personally am adding them because I know they exist. You can't specifically get them unless you know exactly what you're looking for. I'm looking at the physical card. There are no separate listings on TCG Player for the Sheen variant and the regular variant, unless I didn't look hard enough. The only way you can know is by specifically getting the Battle Arena deck to get those specific ones, which is what I did. You'll actually have that video coming out later this week because I want to get this video out and ready first. So we have 4 non-holo rare deck exclusives, which is Aromatisse, Slurpuff, Delphox, and Raichu. You have 1 Professor's Program card, which is the Professor Sycamore. There are 2 Pokemon League stamps, which is the Professor's Letter and the Muscle Band for your trainers. Then there are 8 League Champ stamps, League Challenge stamps for Pumpkaboo and Solrock. It's a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place prize card, and these are extremely cool to me. The further I looked into this, I wanted to see how you could get them, what time they were released, and then I was like, okay, well, how many different ones are there? And this is something where if I wasn't trying to Grandmaster set, I wouldn't know. I knew of these type of cards, I just didn't know how many there were, and they are so interesting to me that I'm actually really considering getting one of every single last one before I work specifically on another set. Next up, we have our 11 Cosmos foils. We got Chestnut, Go-Go, Vivillon, Delphox, Talonflame, Greninja, Pikachu, and Raichu. Raichu getting love in this set. Rhyperior, Zoroark, and Furfrou. Also, you have 2 different Vivillons. The High Plains variant, which is holo and reverse, which you can actually pull from packs. This set is super weird when it comes to Vivillon, but we will talk about that later down, but I will consider them variants at the moment. You have 2 Cracked Ice Holos, which is your Yveltal and Xerneas. They are normally regular rares in the set, but they are Cracked Ice from deck exclusives. Then you have 3 Regional Championship stamps, Honedge, Doublade, and AG/, number 85. And these are also with a staff variant. same exact cards. And then there's a set stamp Aegislash, which is number 86 in the set, and that has a staff and non-staff variant as well, and that is similar to your pre-release promo, and I believe it actually is the pre-release promo for XY base. However, I was trying to research this, I wasn't able to find too much information, but I'm almost certain that's exactly what this is. It's just a pre-release set stamp, but normally we do them in promo form. But this is similar to what's going on with Destined Rivals, where those set stamps and those pre-release cards are just alternate variants of cards from the actual set, and they're not promos. So this is really cool. We'll show that off in the video. Next up, World Championship decks. I specifically do not include World Championship decks. They are not tournament legal, and I think that's just enough of a distinction for me to think of them as cool and keep them in their own regard, but not need to include them into the actual set. The backings are completely different. They lose shine. They're all kind of very matte and plain cards, when most of the cards are like usually played at a higher rarity because people like to bling out their decks. Like if you were to get just like a regular EX, like the Xerneas EX, it will come out as like a matte card. It's not going to be holographic at all. This is completely up to you. For me, I would just consider World Championship cards their own little set. But I have them listed. Every single last person who has a card from XY base that was in their championship deck. I think this is a good way to give credit to everybody who participated and earned the right to have these printed. I just, unfortunately, it's a lot, especially if you have 15 different variants of like Muscle Band, for example, or Professor Sycamore. And it only gets worse in future sets for X and Y. And this will be a thing going forward where championship cards just do not count because I just don't count them. However, I'm not opposed to picking them up and keeping them in their own binder, because I do think they have their own merit and their own worth in that regard. Vivian 666. I'm a villain. All right, let's get into this. Vivian is a gimmick Pokemon for X and Y, and the gimmick is its pattern changes depending on whatever region your DS is from. And they carry that over into XY base, where depending on which language you are from, you get a different Vivian. So English and United States, we ended up with the High Plains variant. So you can get the Meadow one. Meadow is in every single last one, no matter what pack of XY base you get from whatever language. If you pull a Vivian, I believe it is a 50% chance. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's a 50-50 on if it's going to be the Meadow or the standard variant. And Savannah variant only comes in a holo. It doesn't even come in any reverse holo. So Meadow you get everywhere. Continental you can only get in German and Korean, I believe. High Plains is United States or any English variant, so like UK. Icy Snow is Russian. The Marine is Italian and Spanish. Savannah is Portuguese. And the Elegant is from Japan, where it's a Japanese exclusive. For my Grandmaster sets and my Master sets, I specifically only make them language variants. I only consider English cards for my English XY base. If I were to have the Japanese XY base, I would include the Elegant one, but I would not include the High Plains one. If I were to collect Russian, I would collect the Icy Snow. However, I think these are so cool and unique because of the gimmick that if you were to try to hunt them down and put them at the end of your binder, I think that would look really cool. And I'm not opposed to doing that myself, because I genuinely really would like to have these cards. The issue is a lot of them are super expensive. Specifically the Icy Snow one, I only found one listing and it's 1.6k for a regular holo variant, and that's not including the reverse. It's very difficult to complete this. I think it's really cool. I think it's really neat. This is the only, I'm only including the English ones though for this Grandmaster set. So at some point maybe I'll get the other ones, but just not right now. Finally, and this follows into the same issue with language variants, Jumbo Yveltal and Jumbo Xerneas EXs. They are French exclusive, so that's what we have. Pictured over to our right is the French variant of those cards. It's the same thing. If it was an English variant Jumbo, I actually would buy it and I would consider it for the Grandmaster set, despite the fact that they don't fit in the standard size and they also are not tournament legal. They feel close enough. It's weird, my specific gripes and my specific restrictions and requirements for the binder, but because they are French, I do not include them for the English Master set. The only thing that I'm 50-50 on is the Xerneas EX Celebration stamp. So your 25th anniversary Xerneas. I specifically, if you were to ask me straight up, it's not part of the Grandmaster set. I would normally only consider it part of the Celebration set. However, it's Celebration's Classic Collection. And the Classic Collection is just a literal reprint of those cards. So technically, how I'm supposed to look at it is another variant. It has the base set symbol. It has the same numbering. I should include it. So I actually do have an extra copy of it in my X and Y base binder as apart from my Celebrations Collection one. So this is going to be up to you on how you feel about this. But that is everything we have for specifically the XY Base Master set and Grandmaster set. So let's get into actually showing off the binder. Now that I've gotten all the qualifiers out of the way, let's take a good look at this binder. So this is just an Avery black binder with some custom prints that I got from a shop on Etsy, which I'll have linked down below, so that way if you guys were interested in getting this for yourself, you can. They have it available to print. You can just download the files and print at will. You can have it for different sizes, half-inch, inch, the other size, what is the other size? 2-inch. Then on the back over here, this is just the back cover. Nothing crazy on the back, but you know, still very cool nonetheless. And the one thing I really like, which I have an extra cover printed out just so that way I have it available to fill up the space. Eventually at some point I would like to get the trainer's booklet that comes in the ETB to have here. I'll get that at some point, but that's not necessary for this video. The cool thing about the person on Etsy is they have the set list. And I think that's really cool. So that's your complete set of XY base. If you guys want to take a look at it, I'll hold it on screen. You can pause. And let's just get into the actual cards themselves. So we start off on our first page, which has our first EXs of the era, Venusaur and Mega Venusaur. So this is the introduction to Megas as a whole. I'll take this out. We won't look over every card individually, but I've pulled most of these cards, most of them. There are still a bunch that I never was able to get, but we've seen those in some of my video hauls that I've gotten lately. But how I organize my binders is by number order, and then by common, reverse, and then when we get into alternate variants, then we can see how I lead those out too. But we have Lediba, the Beedrill line on that first page. Then over here, Lediba reverse, Ledian, Volbeat, Lumise, Pansage, Simisage, Chespin, Golodon, Chestnut. And here is our first variant card. We have Chestnut Hollow, non-hollow, and then we have the Cosmos Foil, Hollow Chestnut. So I put those right at the end. So I'll always do the cards you can pull from the set first, and then we go and put in anything additional. Over here we have our Scatterbug and Vivian page. Scatterbug up here, Spupa, Vivian, I put the normal one that you can get from every pack first. I should have memorized the names of the patterns, but I don't always have them memorized. But this right here is our Cosmos Hollow foil. And then we have, I believe this is the Continental. I could be wrong on that one, or High Plains. And I'm only doing the English ones for now. This is an English master set, so all the other languages I will not have. Plus those are extremely expensive, so I'm not exactly stressing them at any point currently. But we have Skidoo, Go-Goat. We have a Cosmos Hollow Go-Goat. If I can get him out of the bottle. Really, really nice. We have Slugma Macargo. Pantseer Semi-Seer. Fennekin Breaksin. Delphox, and Delphox has 4 variants. So we have a normal non-hollow, which is a deck exclusive. And then we have a Delphox Cosmos foil. So all 3 of the starters do end up having a Cosmos foil variant. Fletchinder Hollow Talonflame with the Cosmos Hollow Talonflame. These Cosmos patterns are always going to be a pain, but they're usually relatively cheap. Then we have our Blastoise EX, and I'll show this off real quick. I have just released a video, or it should be coming out relatively soon. This right here is the Blastoise you can pull from packs, and this is the Sheen Hollow Blastoise that you can only get from the Battle Arena deck. And the difference is just how the hollow pattern is itself. You can see on the one from the battle deck, it goes in a diagonal line, whereas this one is kind of a left to right pattern. But both those Blastoise are there. And if you want to count them as different variants, you can. I'm not too much of a stickler. Well, I'm stickler enough where I had to count them for myself, but it's your own binders. You guys can collect how you want to, but we have our Mega Blastoise. I'll show off the Sheen Hollow one, which has that same diagonal pattern. Very awesome card. We have our Shelter Cloyster, Staryu Starmie, Lapras Corsola, Panpour, Simipour, Froakie, Frogadier, Greninja, and our Greninja Cosmos foil. And obviously it's a base set of a new era, so we have to have our Pikachus here with our common reverse, and then we have our, I believe this is a Cosmos Hollow that was maybe a promotional item for, like, this might have been like a cereal box type card. I'm not sure exactly. I forget. Then we have regular non-hollow Raichu as a deck exclusive, similar to the Delphox, because as it normally comes in the set is hollow variant like that. And then we have a Cosmos Hollow. So this is one of the sets where Raichu actually gets a little bit more love than the Pikachu. Most of the time the Pikachu has 10 million variants. Voltorb, Electrode, and then our next EX is Emolga, Ekans Arbok, Spoink and Grumpig, Venipede, Whirlipede, Scolipede, Phantump. This was one of the last cards I needed for the set. We have Trevenant Hollow, Pumpkaboo, and these cards are super interesting to me. These are something that I'm actually probably going to go after the entire set that has anything like this. So these are Pokemon League 1st place to 4th place prize cards, and these are super interesting to me. I really love the hollow pattern here. It looks like it's scratched up, and it's really sick looking. But we have it in all different placements. We have 1st, 2nd. We have 3rd place. And then obviously we have 4th place. But these are super cool. And then we have Gourgeist Hollow, Gourgeist Reverse, Diglett, Dugtrio, Rhyhorn, Rhydon. We have Rhyperior up here with a Cosmos Holo variant. And if you can't see it, the right here up here is holographic. Lunatone Soul Rock with the same exact thing, where we have our first place here. We have our second place here. Then up here we have third place. And then lastly, but not least, fourth place. Though it technically is the least. Then Timber, Girder, Conkeldurr, Sableye, Sandile, Krokorok, Crocodile, Zoroark having a Cosmos Holo and a regular Holo variant. This right here being the Cosmos foil. Then we have two different Inkays, two different Malamars. Then we have Yveltal with the Cracked Ice Holo. These are like your deck exclusives. Yveltal EX, Skarmory, Pawniard, Bisharp, Honedge. Then we have our Honedge regional cards, including the Staff variant that has the same holo pattern where it's cross-hatching. I believe that might be the exact term. But we have our Staff Honedge, Doublade Reverse, Doublade Regional. Then we have our, of course, Doublade Staff Stamp. AG/Shield form, the Regional Championship, and the, yeah, they are regional, I am making sure. Staff, and then the Staff variant of it. Then we have our AG/Holo Reverse. Then we have one with the set stamp. So normally, I want to look into this more. Normally, with our pre-releases, we're used to the promos. There's 4 Build and Battle. They come with the set stamp with a Staff variant. But this is from the actual set itself. It's very similar to what we're seeing with Destined Rivals at the moment, which is weird for what we normally see. But I'm okay with it being inside this set, being that there was only one exactly that I had to hunt down. But yeah, a bunch of different AG/s. I think these will probably be the more valuable cards in terms of hunting down for the Grandmaster set, is to get just every Staff variant. Though the full arts, I have a little bit of a story where I don't have the same issue of buying them outright, because a lot of them I pulled, and the most expensive one I had to pay for was the Yveltal full art. But then we have our fairy types, and if you guys are new, fairy types used to exist and they were overpowered, and they reverted them to psychic typings. But that is our fairy type symbol. They are pink. They're really cool. I didn't really point them out. Jigglypuff ×2, Wigglytuff ×2, Mr. Mime. We have Spritzy, Aromatisse, which has a non-holo variant. And this I remember using in my own Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir deck that I had. Swirlix, Holo Slurpuff, a deck exclusive again, non-holo variant. This one did not get used in my deck. We have our Xerneases, our Cracked Ice Xerneas. Then we have our Xerneas EXs. This right here from the actual set. This one right here is the Celebrations one. And I debated on whether or not I should put it in here. When I talk about it in the video that I'm explaining everything, I don't count this for a master set or even a Grandmaster set, except for the fact that it still has the set symbol and the set number. And then that got me thinking, okay, maybe it does count, but I consider this more for celebrations than I do base set. However, it's one of those either or type things for me. So classic collection Xerneas, you can put here, you can remove the spot. It doesn't make your Grandmaster set any less Grandmaster. However, for anybody who would have pointed that out, I have it here. We have Doduo, Dodrio, Tauros, Dunsparce, Tailo, Swallow, Skitty, Delcatty, Bidoof, and Bibarel, Lillipup, Herdier, Stoutland, Bunnelby, Diggersby, Fletchling, Hollow Furfrou with the Cosmos Hollow. This is our last Cosmos Hollow we have to worry about in this set. Then we get on to our trainers, Cassius and Evo Soda. We have Fairy Garden, Great Ball, Hard Charm, Max Revive. We have Muscle Band, which has a League variant with that same cross hatching, which I really love it. Professor Sycamore with the Professor Program stamp, cross hatch exclusive. That one's really cool. We have our Professor's Letter with another Pokemon League cross hatching. Then over here we have Red Card, Roller Skates. We have Shadow Circle, Shauna, Super Potion, Team Flare Grunt. We have our Double Colorless, Rainbow Energy, and the energies for this set are actually part of the set proper. So normally for my sets, I like to add any energies you can pull from those packs, even if they aren't exactly part of the set number. However, these ones are, so they actually go before the full art. So we have our Grass and Fire energy. Then we have our Water Electric Psychic, Fighting Darkness Metal, and then Fairy, which we don't have anymore. Then we have our full arts, which this is such a beautiful page. So here is our Venusaur EX full art. And literally all but 2 of these, or 3 of them, yeah, 3 of them I had pulled myself. So half of them I pulled for myself. So Blastoise EX. This one's getting up there in price currently, so I would try to snag it before the release of a new Blastoise Mega, but you can't exactly time that out. Maybe waiting it out past then might be good, but who knows with how the current condition of the market is. We have Emolga EX full art. Really, really pretty card. No, actually, I had this Emolga EX full art. I had 4 out of them. I was only missing these 2 because I'm like, wait a second. No, I've had that for forever. Then this is the full art that I actually had to spend the most amount of money on to get. Yveltal EX. There's a little bit of light play. I don't mind. I think it was around like 40-ish or 40 so to get that. But it is a really nice looking card. Then we have our Skarmory EX full art. This one I like a little less, but it is still okay. I don't know. I never used this card. I don't have any physical like attachment to it because it was one of those where I had to get both the regular EX and the full art variant, so I don't have any emotional attachment to that card specifically. However, this card is super beautiful. This one I have pulled myself, and I'm super glad. I believe if I'm not mistaken, it is one of the, I think it's probably the most expensive full art. But look how beautiful that card is. This is how full art should be done, people. But these pages right here, I would like to reserve for specifically if I get pack arts. I want to put the pack arts here. And I also want to use the sleeves from the ETB to fill these up too, because I think that would look really nice. It's just I do not have those sleeves. And then the other ultimate goal is eventually to have enough of those sleeves to sleeve every single last card in here. But that is something that is not exactly necessary for what we're doing today, or necessary at all. It's just one of those OCD type things. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button down below, and I will see you guys next time. So until then, YouTube, goodbye.